Moving on to round 3, it's Space Marines, and a bit more of a generic Space Marines army. This is the guy that has the scorpion tails on his bikes. But yeah, just a bit of a status quo Space Marine army. We're playing Spearhead this time for 3 particular objectives. If you look at the photo carefully, you'll see an orange token to the left-hand side of that big monument in the center, and another orange token to the right-hand side on the further field of the battlefield, and one on top of the pillar in the middle. So we're basically heading out to secure all 3 objectives. Other than that, it's a fairly straight-up firefight. So that's my deployment. I have got first turn for this one, I think for the first time, so let's go to the next image. Actually, sorry, no, my fault. He has the first turn, my bad, so I'm just going to have to weather his first round of shooting, and we'll see how it goes. He's got scouts moving up towards the central pillar there, so it'll be interesting to see what happens in the middle with all of those tanks and the area terrain there. Next image, looking around the side here, you can see objective number 1 in the middle, number 2 over the far right, number 3 not pictured, but I've got plenty of tanks and troops to head over there, and luckily there's not too much terrain around the side, so I can move with the tanks in a better position. So next photo, his bike's just driving all the way around to the side of the battlefield with their turbo boost. The Hydras should be able to deal with that if they're in range because they ignore the turbo boosting effect, but I may well want to use the Hydras to shoot something else. He's got the Razorback coming around the corner of the mountain as well. Quite like that big terrain centerpiece, so it's made for an interesting battlefield. Next image, his scouts moving up. Nothing really threatening there because they've only got a heavy bolter and sniper rifles. Not really enough to deal with the armor. They're a bit of a better unit at killing sort of, I don't know, lightly armored, high toughness troops, I suppose. So nothing really to worry about so much there. Next image, my corresponding turn 1, just moving the Vendettas back a bit and shooting out and moving the tanks forward. Hopefully nothing, no, I don't think anything got immobilized this first round, but doing a fair bit of shooting. So if you go to the next photo, I luckily managed to crack his Land Raider with a lot of last cannon fire, getting some 6s through, followed by more 6s, which was awesome, and wrecking both arms on the Dreadnoughts. That forced his Terminators to spill out and really created a traffic jam, and straight away put me into a big advantage because it meant that I could actually just creep around the flank, take that objective, and he'd be very slow with his Terminators just walking through all of that last cannon fire. Next image, he's decided to drive back in his turn 2 with his bikes, just realising that he wouldn't be able to deal with that firepower on the other flank, so he thought I'd just drive back to help out with the mobility needed on the other flank there. Other than that, the Devastator's taking a shot at some of my tanks, but his luck this game was really bad. Like, every time he tried to get through a cover save or crack some armor or get a good penetration roll, just didn't really work, and of course the Whirlwind out of range most of the game and not really able to crack armor with it anyway. Next image, moving up into the center of the battlefield with one of my Chimeras and Heavy Flamer attacking those scouts. So with a big whir and hiss of flammable liquid, most of them got toasted, which was pretty awesome to deal with that straight away, and puts me in control of 2 objectives right off the bat. All Vendettas still up and running. I think one got stunned at one point, but just moving around to continue sniping vehicles and Terminators wherever possible, and the Demolisher moving forward as well, really dominating that flank. Next image, another Rhino cracked thanks to my massive shooting, and he's stuck here with a squad of 10 Marines, 1 rocket launcher there to fire at me, but it's not really going to be enough in the context of things. He's got a flamer there, just way out of range for that, so I don't really know how these Marines are going to get to any of the objectives unless he really gets a move on. Next image, I have pop smoke on one of my Vendettas actually moving around the back here. The plan is just to actually get that Vendetta in position on the other flank to do a flat-out move onto his objective later on in the game to prevent him from capturing it, while keeping my Chimera in the middle of the table and just taking the objective on the left, so it should be fairly easy to do. Next image, just really dominating this left-hand flank, creating a wall of tanks so he can't actually tank shock through onto the objective, cracking shots off at everything possible, stunning his Whirlwind in the background, and nothing really on this flank to fire back at me, so very dominant situation. Next image, he's actually decided to get decisive with his captain and his bikes, just driving through this little ravine here, avoiding the dangerous terrain by passing his dice rolls here, and he's going to go for it and take out this Chimera in the center. So I'm going to have to respond to that, but luckily, because it's central, I can get all my vehicles converging on that point. Next image, he has indeed cracked the Chimera with his dedicated bike assault. That's caused the Imperial Guardsmen to fail a morale check and run directly away, but in my turn they managed to regroup, which was quite good. So next photo, in response to that, just moving up flat out with all of my vehicles on the right-hand side. Don't really have to do much shooting, popping some smokes wherever possible. And because this is about turn 4, in the next turn I should be able to just drive over and capture the objective if he doesn't move anything to contest. And if he moves some troops over, don't really see how I can do that because he's lost all of his vehicles. I should be able to contest with at least one of my big tanks here. So next image, just sitting in the reserves, just driving in. I've immobilized one of the Chimeras on the steps, so I've got a platoon's command squad heading out of the tank, and just moving up there to nail those spikes with a barrage of shots from everything in my army. Next image, to help them, we've got another little column of Marines walking up the steps, quite like the paint job on these guys. Looks pretty cool. And they look like they're not going to be there in time, though. Once they do get within 3 inches, I should be able to actually start hammering them with all sorts of dedicated firepower. And he will need at least one uncontested control point to mission objective, I should say, to win. I'm thinking War Machine terms. So next photo, again another assault here with the spikes onto my Chimera. I think just rolling abysmally low, ones and ones and ones for everything, and just not managing to destroy it. So that will allow me to just wipe out his bikes really, and send in my troops just to that pillar there where the objective is. Next photo shows me doing exactly that, the tank backing up a little bit, my infantry moving back into the building, and the demolisher swinging its turret around just to slam them with a massive strength 10 AP2, which of course they get a couple of saves from, but with all of those, the firepower, the last cannons and so forth, just not happening. So next photo, Chimera moving around here to objective number 3. He hasn't bothered to move anybody in range. He's got some missile launchers and heavy plasma guns, or plasma cannons I should say, but just not getting the dice roll he needs to actually crack the tank. So very frustrating game for him. Feel a bit sorry that that's been the case, that we haven't had a bit of a close game, but that's dice sometimes. Next image again, you can see the demolisher just poised to evaporate those Marines here in cover. Of course, they'll 50% of them will survive, but just a great position for that tank. Totally uncontested tank there, dominating everything it touches. So that will help me completely slam them. And that's essentially it. Game ended mercifully. Well, actually, we didn't roll after turn 5. He basically conceded. He was not having the best time. Can totally understand that, but we had to wrap it up. 2 games to 1 loss after the first day. Hopefully going to recuperate some more during day 2 and have a bit of fun. So see you guys there.